Single mothers. We all know them, and we all know how common they are these days. For many men out there, it is a constant reality, with them being parented only by their motherly figure. For many others, they choose to be in relationships with them and give them a second chance at life. On paper, this seems like a great idea, with them being able to help their loved ones in ways they couldn't ever imagine. But in reality, this is probably the biggest mistake you can make as a man who wants to live his life to the fullest. Remember, the name of the game for the top 1% man comes down to one single word: freedom. I will say it again. The name of the game for the top 1% man is none other than freedom. Freedom financially, emotionally, spiritually, and in all other areas of life. As harsh and not politically correct as it may sound, but dating single mothers is one of the fastest ways to shove that freedom down the drain. The risks greatly outweigh the benefits here. The vast majority of those who take this risk end up turning into broken, miserable men. The reason why a lot of us brothers make this choice is mostly due to societal brainwashing, telling us lies such as, "She's a single mother. You'd be a monster if you refuse to give her your love." Or, "Oh, she needs your help. Don't be a selfish prick." But these are all utter BS. And that's exactly what you are about to learn. The biggest 5 reasons why you need to avoid single mothers. A quick note before starting this video. I'm not telling you to hate single moms or look down on them. In fact, many of us were raised by them and understand the sacrifices they are ready to make for their children. But what I am telling you is that dating one could be your downfall. Why? Because their priority is their children. So unless you want to be adopted by her, then remember, you will never receive that level of attention or priority. If you truly care about helping single mothers, then instead of dating them, simply support them financially or emotionally. With that said, here are the 5 dark truths. Number 1, her idea of men is likely broken. This may be a no-brainer for a lot of you, but those who don't believe should reconsider. Just think about it. Let's say her ex-husband left her, or she was forced to leave him due to toxicity and abuse on his part. Do you really think that all the pain that she had to go through left her idea of men intact? It's likely that she may never trust you, turning her abusive and manipulative. Imagine a piece of tape that you stick on the wall. Once that piece of tape is taken off the wall, it will never hold the same type of stickiness again, regardless of how good that tape is. The same goes for her respect for you. Another huge factor to take into consideration is that she might subconsciously be afraid of you. This may not sound like a big deal to some of you, but think about having a relationship with someone who is constantly wary of your every move. You wouldn't even call her a partner at that point, but more of a spy or an intelligence agent. Number 2, she could easily use you. Countless are those men who will get used by women for money, and most single mothers are a prime example of those women. Why? Simple. Because unlike most gold diggers, these women have a deep need for financial stability due to them being mothers. They must take care of their children with all the tools that they have at their disposal, and you might just turn into one of those tools in no time. Other than money, they also need other forms of support, like the masculine kind. They have likely been needing a man to do all the work and chores, as they're forced to spend all of the time taking care of their job and the kids. So there's a pretty good chance she would just use her love and your attraction for her as another way to manipulate you. If you already find yourself in such a situation and realize that you're being exploited like a slave, run away as fast as you can. It can be difficult, but that's the price you pay for getting yourself involved in other people's families. Number 3, if she lost her man, there's a reason for it. Always remember, if she managed to lose her husband, there's likely something wrong with the way she perceives relationships. Of course, not all single moms have to be toxic and manipulative in order to end the marriage, as their exes might have been the problem too. But again, better safe than sorry. Why would you want to start a relationship where you know it could backfire at any time? I said before, freedom is the name of the game for the top 1% of man. Embrace it. If her husband left her, you might soon find out why. But what if you are already in a relationship with her? What then? Well, as soon as you notice any kind of red flag or negative trait of some kind, call it quits with her. She's likely aware of the flaw that drove her husband away and is trying to hide it. On the other hand, if she's the one who left her ex, she might be the reason for her failed family. Once again, I'm in no way trying to say that she must be some sort of evil witch just because she happens to be a single mother. But keep in mind, failed relationships and families are like broken pieces of glass. No matter how perfectly you try to join the pieces of glass back together, the brokenness will always be there. Her toxic behavior towards men could hurt you just as much as it hurt the man you took the place of. Number 4, it's way too complicated, period. If you've always dreamed of having the kind of relationship that puts you in a cycle of love, passion, and connection, a single mom is surely not the best option to have. You may think that she could be the one, or that she's just perfect for you, despite her situation. But that's probably the self-imposed lie that you refuse to see. Even if no toxic trait is present, or nothing seems to be going wrong, that is still a family in pieces. Remember, brothers, a perfect relationship is where nothing gets in between the man and the woman. Listen to that again. A perfect relationship is where nothing gets between a man and the woman. That means no one interferes between the two of you, not her mother or your father, and so on. But in the case of single mothers, the children will always act as her first priority and a barrier that stops your connection for each other from fully ripening. You are essentially trying to force yourself into being accepted into a broken family with a long past history. And that's exactly what I am saying. You are much better starting a relationship with a clean slate without the high risk, especially if you are a young man. Consider this a warning. Your journey through self-improvement is the most important path you have, and don't want it to be halted by a choice like that. Number 5, a large part of her has probably turned masculine. The final and most important reason is the fact that her own internal masculinity has developed due to her being forced to raise children all on her own. A family needs both a mother and a father to bring up a child, with the mother being a source of femininity and the father being a source of masculinity. But without the father, the mother has to take on that role as well and provide for her kids, in turn, turning her a lot more masculine than she should have been. To put it simply, she had to grow into a strong, dominant figure in order to survive. And if you end up dating a woman like that, you'll soon find yourself being dominated and feminized by the mere environment that she has created over the years of solitary parenting. As time will go on, you'll turn more and more feminine until all your improvements will be reverted back to zero. So for your own sake, stay away from single mothers. You will never be able to achieve a healthy dynamic when she's a lot more masculine than the average woman. So remember, brothers, a single mother is a great source of blessings to her children. But choosing to date one will not only damage her even more, but scar you along the way as well. To see the next best way to level up as a man, check this video here.